Hello coloring friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is the completed pages for February of 2025, and I have to apologize for my voice. It's a little bit raspy. As many of you know, I was pretty sick last week. I still have a little bit of something going on, but I feel well enough to go ahead and make this video for you all. So I thought I would start off with kind of going over my coloring planner. This is the coloring planner put out by Amanda Colors. Many of you have seen this coloring planner. However, I had mine, I had the binding removed and had it spiral bound at my local office supply store. I did take some pages out of it, so the spiral binding here is a little bit big. I think I'm going to go to a smaller one, but I just need to go out and purchase it. I did take some pages out that I didn't need personally, and so yeah, that made it a little bit smaller. So for February, so I just basically I didn't do too crazy decorations on my journal. Just some markers and stickers and washi tape, and yeah, so let's go into the completed pages. I had, I think 7 completed pages. I have a couple of WIPs, which I will also show. And this month, I kind of went back to doing something that I hadn't done for a long time, and that's drawing mandalas. And I actually ended up drawing 7 mandalas at the end of the month. Kind of while I was sick, I just didn't feel like thinking about colors and color placement and color theory and all of that. I wanted to do something creative that didn't, for me, didn't require a whole lot of thought. So yeah, creating mandalas is something for me that I find really relaxing. And I'll show those at the end of the video. So if you're not interested in that, then you can, skip the rest of the video once I get to that point. So let's go ahead and I'll set this off to the side so I can read what I used on each page, and we'll start with seasons. So for seasons, because I was sick, I didn't end up filming any videos the last week of February. Pretty much, I think it was like the last 8 or 9 days of February, I was sick. And I was going to do that double page that I had discussed in my coloring plans, but I didn't get around to it. So I only have one completed page from Seasons, and that is this frog pond page. And I, of course, used my Neocolor 2s and Prismas and some Thule Art paint pens, as well as my white Artistro paint pen. I've been using the white Artistro paint pen a lot lately. Let me get it out. Yeah, so I've been using this white Artistro. I bought a box of these a while back, and they were in a drawer full of my extra pens and whatnot. And I thought, I'm going to get those out and start working with them. And honestly, I have to say they work just as good, if not better, than my the white Posca. So for me, I think these two pretty much are neck and neck in their abilities. I almost want to say I like the Artistro almost a little bit better. I find it's very opaque and yeah, I think they're a little bit more cost effective as well. I'd have to double check on that. But anyway, side note there. So yeah, and then I used my white Winsor and Newton for splatters up on the top of the page. And I was really happy with how this turned out. I love the bright, vibrant colors down below and the more muted, softer colors up top. I thought that came out really, really nice. Oh, and by the way, I did add a gold frame around this page. Somebody had made the comment that I could add gold around and that would look really nice because I don't know if you guys remembered that from this page, I taped off the watercolor background and then that left that white border, and I wasn't really happy with how that looked, but somebody suggested to do a gold, my gold Posca or gold paint pen around the outer edge, and I did, and I love it. So thank you for the person that suggested doing that. All right, and so that was it out of Seasons. Okay, the next book that I worked out of in February was Big Fantasy Coloring Book in Grayscale by Molly Harrison. Now this book has a ton of gorgeous, gorgeous images in it. Mermaids, fairies, witches, everything magical. And the page that I chose this month was this page here. It was actually a request from, I think it was 2 viewers really wanted to see this page. When I was going through my February coloring plans video and well, when I was going through this book on my February coloring plans video, they had mentioned that they wanted to see this page colored. And yeah, it turned out gorgeous. So with this page, I used my Distress inks on the background, which I find is pretty much the best medium to use. Aside from a pencil, just going in with pencil, but I'm too impatient for that to do a full pencil background. I just, plus it wears on my hands, and you know, I just love using Distress inks for the backgrounds for these images in this book. And so I based it with Ohuhu markers, and I used one Copic marker for her basing her skin, and then went over with polychromos. I like the firmer pencils on this Amazon paper. I just find that the firmer pencils work better, and so I went with that. And what else did I use? Oh yes, I also used some acrylic paint for the paint splatters in the background. I used a light gray and kind of a pinkish plum muted color. You can't really see that one too much. So I also used my white Artistro paint pen and a little bit of Wink of Stella on her wings there. I don't know if you can see the glitter, but yeah, that just turned out gorgeous. So I was really happy with how this one turned out. Oh, and Jelly Glaze pen, excuse me, Jelly Roll Glaze pen on the border. And I find that doing a nice border around these pages really helps give it that nice finishing touch. Okay. So the next book I worked out of was Nocturnes by Anastasia Koldareva, and this was a buddy color with my 2 friends that I seem to be doing a buddy color with almost every month for the past few months, and I'll put their pages up on the screen there. You can see Natalia's page and Sylvia's page there. I also have their Instagrams on there as well, and both of them are so incredibly gorgeous. I just absolutely love what they did with this page, and it's so fun to see the different versions of the same page. So thank you so much, ladies, for having so much patience waiting for me to finish mine, and I look forward to our next buddy colors. So here's my page here. So I used my Ohuhu alcohol markers to base the page. I used my Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils for the background. And the pencils that I used for the shading was, let's see. So I used Prismacolors for her skin and Polychromos in her hair, and I used a mix of Prismas and those new, the new set of Castle Arts Harmonious pencils. Let me go get them really quick. So these are the Castle Arts Harmonious pencils that I use kind of throughout the page. In different areas. I think I used them in the flowers. I also used them for the highlights in her hair and in her dress. So yeah, these are like, they're gorgeous, gorgeous pencils, and the real muted tones here. That hopefully I got it in the screen there. I used these for the first time. I just got these back in January, and so I was really looking forward to using them on this page. So, and then I used my white Winsor & Newton ink for splatters in the background. So I am really happy with this page and just love how it turned out. The next book that I worked out of was Maria Trolle's Universe. And this was the first page that I have done out of this book. And it is the very last page because I was following the hashtag from Jamie's Coloring Love. It's called Back to Front Coloring 2025, where she is coloring this page from back to front. And so I started off with the very last page, and I used my Sarah Renee Clark coloring cube for the color palette. And yeah, I stuck pretty well to the color palette. I didn't use any other colors than what was here. I really wanted to, stick with just those colors to have a more limited color palette, and it came out wonderfully. So a lot of people had mentioned that they liked the color combination that I used for the teapot here. And I just want to take this moment. I'm going to grab my color combination book here. Okay, so it's got some paint on the front there. A long time ago, years ago, I made this binder here where I keep all of my color combinations that I either make up or that I've gotten from somebody else on their coloring videos, or like coloring with Claire. Claire had done some combination sheets, and most recently from Karen over at My Colorful Country Life. She did all of those coloring combo videos, and this one, the one that I have in here, is her Prismacolor combinations. So yeah, this book is quite messy and full, but it is, I have it organized with tabs for metals, skin tones. I have some notes on eye colors, hair colors. These are all a bunch of hair colors that I have used in the past or have seen somebody else use. I've got some gemstone work here that I've done. And then my basic color combos. Now this was the when I think Claire from Coloring with Claire put this out years and years ago. And I just downloaded it and printed it out. So here's one place where I get lots of color combinations. These are some that I came up with right here. And then my Colorful Country Life, Karen's are right here. And for that teapot, I started off with using this color combination here from Karen, and I just tweaked it a little bit. Let me get my notes here. And this might need to be a separate video, but as some of you know, I also like to do junk journaling, and so I recently, this month in February, made a junk journal out of all of my scrap pieces of paper that I do my color combinations on. When I am getting ready to do a page, I will put a bunch of color combinations down that I think might work for that page. And let me see if I can find the one. And I wanted to put it all in one book because I had them just kind of paper clipped together in a drawer at my desk, and that was getting to be quite messy and full. So, and this is all done on scrap paper, which I will eventually put glue back to some of these scrap pieces of paper that have the printed words on them. Let me see if I can find the one for this teapot page. Okay, so here's the one that I did for this teapot page. See if I can get all of this in the screen here. Okay. So yeah. So what I do is, like for this one, I went ahead and matched up the core colors from the color palette, and then I made some combinations using those core colors. And I some of them I didn't end up using, and I always like put a little star next to the ones that I definitely want to use. And so for the teapot was kind of this was the direct translation from this color combination. But I didn't want to use the gray-green light, so instead I swapped it out with pale sage. And so that's where this color combination came from. Now, if you'd like to see me go more in depth about how I made this book and what I'm doing with it, it's a no-sew junk journal that I can just keep adding to because I just tied the signature with ribbons. Let me know and I will make a separate video for that. But anyway, I wanted to take just a quick moment to kind of go over, just touch on a little bit of my process with you to show typically how I pick color combinations for a page, and I can make a whole separate video on that if you would like to see that as well. So anyway, that is kind of a little bit of my thought process with this page here. Now, I also used my gold metallic Posca pen and my white Winsor & Newton for splatters, and I think I used my Artistro Artistro paint pen for this page as well. So the next book I worked out of was Fantasy Forest, and this was a brand new book that I just got, I think it was February. And so I had a lot of requests to do a page out of this book. And so this was another untouched book that I worked out of. Yeah, and I actually started this page at the end of January, but then I finished it like the first or second day of February. With this page, I used my Ohuhu alcohol markers as a base with Prismacolors over the top, lots of Tuliart paint pen, my white Artistro pen, and let's see what else. And I use a little bit of folk art glitter paint in her wings, but you can't really see that. I don't know if it wore off or I don't know. It doesn't look as sparkly as it did. You can kind of see it, but it might not show on camera. But yeah, this woodland fairy just turned out so cute. All right, so that's it for this page. And so the next book I worked out of was another mythographic book, Fairy Wonderland, which was very appropriate for February since it's also known as February in the coloring community. And I did this page here, which I absolutely love. I just love how this turned out, just using a very limited color palette of greens and pinks with a little bit of orange and yellow thrown in there, but very soft tones of orange and yellow. And this page again with my Ohuhu markers and Prismacolor pencils, I believe it was, yes, Prismacolor pencils, and it just turned out so lovely. The leaves here had all of these like water droplets drawn on them, and then a couple on her flower hat, but I didn't want to take the time to really make those look like real actual water droplets by doing all of the shading and everything. So I thought that I would just outline them with my white, did I use my Artistro or Posca? I can't remember if I think I used my Artistro, but I'm not sure on that. Either way, outlining them with my white paint pen and then using stickles to fill in the centers of those water drops, and it turned out so gorgeous and I absolutely love it. I also used my folk art glitter paint in these kind of I think it's supposed to be water, but I didn't want to color it blue. I wanted to color a really light pink and then covering it with that folk art glitter. So hopefully that's picking up. I know the stickles for sure are picking up on the camera. And I used, I think it was, oh yeah, 2 Tuliart paint pens. Well, actually this dark pink was not a Tuliart paint pen. It was a different brand of kind of an off-brand paint pen because it was only one that I had in this dark pink color, which I absolutely love how that turned out. And then I used my really soft yellow, I think it's called Sunset or something, Tuliart paint pen in the anthers on these fuchsia flowers here. So yeah, I absolutely love how this page turned out. Okay. The next book I worked out of was an previously untouched book that I've seriously had this book for like 4 or 5 years, and it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. I have a ton of Creative Haven books, and I hardly ever color in them. I just seem to hoard them. I don't know why. I don't want to get rid of them because I always think, oh, one day I'm going to, you know, color in them. And I like using markers in them and, you know, just kind of for that, you know, mindless, just relaxing coloring, not having to worry about shading if I don't want to, you know, just relaxing coloring. And so I decided to break this one out after I had been drawing my mandalas. I was like, wait a minute, I have a Mendy Designs book. I'm going to pull that out and start working in this. And I filmed it for my speed coloring video, which since I got sick last week, I haven't had a chance to create that video. I have all of the footage. I just need to edit it and put it out there. So I will hopefully do that this coming week. And I'll go ahead and show you. Normally I wouldn't show you if I didn't have the video out yet, but this time I thought I'll just go ahead and show you guys. This is the page that I worked on this month, and well, February. And I used this color palette from the Sarah Renee Clark Color Cube. And yeah, I did throw in these turquoise colors because I thought it really needed a little something else. I started just using these and I was like, no, it needs some turquoise in there. So, and I'm really glad that I did because I think it really, those colors really pop. And so for the background for this page, I wanted it one solid color. I started off with using, so for the whole page, I used my Arteza Twee markers and a couple Tombow markers and the dual brush pens, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. So I did the whole background in marker, and most of you probably know that when you do a background in regular water-based markers, well, even alcohol markers too, you can always see those lines. And so what I did was I just went ahead and went over in the background, went over that not watercolor, that marker with my Prismacolor pencil. And that really helped get rid of all of those lines. And I did a color that really matched that marker color because I was just trying to use kind of this brownish color. Actually, the color that I used, it probably looks brown on camera, but it's a little bit more reddish color. It was the black raspberry color, and that's what I used here. And yeah, and lots of gold metallic Posca. See if the camera will pick up that reflection there. So yeah, I really had fun with this page. So I do have a work in progress. I also started, since I had so much fun on this page, I started another page, and that's this one here. And again, I used my water-based markers in the background, and then I went over with Prismacolor pencils, and I actually made this one have a little bit of a vignette where it's darker around the outside and then the lighter color in the center for the background there. And the rest is just marker work so far, and that's with those Arteza Twee markers, which I love those. Okay, so that is it for those. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that I had been working on drawing mandalas again. And so I started drawing mandalas back in 2020 during the lockdowns. I started following some folks over on YouTube that were showing how to draw mandalas. and I really, really enjoyed it. So I even made my own portfolio of mandala drawings that I had done, because I was just using printer paper to draw them on. And yeah, so I went ahead and got this portfolio book to put them in, and I even did the binding here on the little piece of paper insert into the portfolio binding here. But I won't show you all of the ones that I have done previously, but the ones that I did in February, starting on this page. This was one that I did back in 2020. But yeah, so I'll just do a quick flip through of what I worked on in February. So I did this one and these two, and both of these. This one was a tutorial on, her name is Art by Henna or something like that. I'll put her the link to her channel up on the screen there for you to see. And I follow her quite a bit with my with mandala drawings, because we both have really similar style in Zen doodling and mandala drawing. This is kind of just a little Zen doodle box here that I did. And yeah, that's it for these. And I went ahead and thought, you know what, if I'm going to do these, more of these, I'm just going to do it in a sketchbook. And so here's one that I started, kind of a Zen doodle box. And then here is my latest mandala right here. Now this one was also a kind of where I followed along with Art by Henna, and yeah, so I followed her doing this mandala, and it's just so much fun. And like I said, we have the same styles, so I really enjoy following her videos. So yeah, so that is it for my coloring pages for the month of February. I hope that you have enjoyed the video. I hope to continually get better. I'm not 100% right now. You can probably hear it in my voice, but each day I feel a little bit better. So yeah, I'll continue on with my work in seasons, and that video will probably be coming up a little bit later this week. And I'm going to try to have a March plans video. However, I will be out of town for a bit of March. I will be going to my hometown in Idaho during my daughter's spring break. We are going to go see family. So hopefully I can get some videos made ahead of time that I can have come out while I'm out of town. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble on. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.